Hey everyone, I am here to give you my take on Marriage Boot Camp Reality Stars Family Edition. That was a mouthful. Okay, but anyways, this is episode 3 and it was titled Who Let the Dogs Out? Who? I'm telling y'all, if y'all are a certain age, like you cannot say Who Let the Dogs Out without singing the song. Like I tried to stop myself from doing it, but I had to, okay? But anyways, before I get into my review, you guys already know the drill. Please, if you are new to this channel and you're okay with me at least within this first 30 seconds, subscribe to the channel. You'll enjoy it. I try to provide really good detailed commentary and my take on the episodes and shows that I review. Anyway, now that we've gotten that out the way, let's just move right on into it. So like I was saying, it is Marriage Boot Camp. This is for families who let the dogs out, episode 3. It is also day 3 in this house, and the theme of day 3 is a sacrifice. Okay, so we still have a few ongoing things from last episode that have spilled over into this episode. Okay, so starts off with Renee, the mob wife, and Jenn, her sister. They are arguing or disagreeing or just going back and forth about the argument that Renee had with her other sister, Lana. You can tell that Jenn is just really not that interested in even having the conversation. Jenn is one of the 3 sisters that always finds herself in the middle of an argument between Renee and Lana. Jenn just kind of just like wants everything just to cool over. She doesn't want it to get to the point where like they don't have a sisterhood anymore because somebody goes too far. Meanwhile, Renee just yep. And she never wants to stop until everybody sees it her way. So, at that point, at some point, Jenn walks out of the room because she doesn't want to be in the middle of it. And then Renee asks Lana to come into the kitchen because she wants to have a conversation with Lana, with Chrissy there as kind of a mediator. Lana was just being totally honest. Like sometimes we all have to do with our family members. She was like, you know what? I seriously need like mental peace right now. I can't do this with you. I know you want to do this, but not right now. And I think if a lot of us took that approach, like a lot of arguments could be avoided, okay? Simply because we were just not in the mood at that moment. Okay, but anyways, Chrissy agrees. She's like, you know what? That's fair because yesterday was a really hard day. So when Lana leaves out of the kitchen, Chrissy starts to vent to Renee about her hard day that she had yesterday. So basically, she's pretty much still upset about the fact that she feels cheated out of not being able to participate in the snakes in the grass drill because Jim and his mother, refused to participate. Now look, okay, I'm on Chrissy's side a lot. But I'm terrified to death, okay? To death of snakes. So I just don't think that I could go through with that exercise either. The sight of snakes would have scared me like back into the house. But anyways, she feels cheated and she feels like, look, the snakes weren't even going to come out if we were just able to express ourselves. So speaking of expressing ourselves, she did say that she was really affected by hearing her own voice of her recording in the Zen booth. That affected her because she heard and felt the hurt in her own voice. And she just feels cheated by it. Chrissy's the type of person, she's gonna let it go, but this was just the next morning. So, okay. So then we have Tonya. Tonya is Amber's mom. She is in her room. She is breaking down to Amber because she's feeling sick. Now, I'm going to say sick with quotations around them. I do actually think after like continuing to watch the episode that Tonya was actually sick, but when she was first expressing herself to Amber in her confessional is like, oh, my poor mom is sick. She's coughing up a lung. Oh my gosh. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, so she made it seem like her mom was just like making all this up and it was just a woe is me, everybody pay attention to my like faking. Okay. So at that point, when we saw them like in real life, in real time, Amber was telling her mom, You know, Mom, I'm so sorry. I wish I was there for you more often. I know you don't feel well, blah, 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 blah. Which I was kind of confused because in the confessional, she was basically like mocking her as if she didn't believe her. And then in real life, she was making it seem like, oh, I'm going to be there for you. So it made me think like, Amber, are you putting on an act? Because like the audio and video just isn't adding up at this point. At this point, Matt was thinking the exact same thing as me because he's like, Amber and her mom, I don't know what they're doing. They're putting on a whole show. I don't believe either one of them. I don't believe she's sick. I don't believe she really cares. Whatever. Because he's been around them long enough to be able to tell, like, what's genuine and what's not. Okay. Meanwhile, cut quick to Renee in the kitchen. She's still arguing about the same stuff. Renee doesn't let stuff go because she wants somebody to understand her and be on her side, okay? She is literally gonna, like, beat a dead horse. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then we have Dr. Ish. Dr. Ish, he decides to go and check on Tonya because she needs a doctor to check on her. He's not a medical doctor, but he goes to go check on her. That's his job in the camp, to make sure that everyone is getting through the process fine, and that everybody's in a good mental space, even physical. You know, there's been times when people have had to leave and go off to the hospital. So he's checking on her. He basically excuses her from the exercise for that day and tells her to lie down and she needs to get some rest. Okay, I personally think that this was doctored up by the boot camp. I don't know that anything was actually wrong with Tonya, but this specific exercise was good for that they did that day that I'm gonna get to was actually just good for Amber and Matt. So I'm assuming it was set up that way. But you know, whatever. I could be wrong. Anyways, Matt is outside on the patio. He is actually talking to Brandi and Renee. He starts spilling the tea, honey, okay? Yeah, y'all say Matt is a snake. Matt is a little, what is he, like Mrs. Potts? Mrs. Potts off of Beauty and the Beast. I mean, because the tea is just overflowing, okay? He's like, I got time today. I haven't been talking for the rest of the time, but Amber and her mom is not around, so I have time. Okay, first of all, Amber and Tonya have only been in contact for the past 5 days, okay? So they're trying to put on this, like, front, like, oh, my mom's supporting me and blah, 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 and we have a connection, and they really don't because they've only been in contact for 5 days, okay? Tonya's story, apparently, Amber's mom, is somewhat fabricated. It's a half-truth. The night before, or the first night, the show and tell night, she said that her father was very verbally abusive and eventually became physically abusive. Well, I guess the part that she left out of that Amber had told Matt about, was that her mother was actually extremely abusive to Amber's father for his whole life. So that kind of rang a bell in my head because remember, Amber from Teen Mom, she got in trouble on TV, and I'm not sure if this ended up being the reason why she went to jail, but she got in trouble on TV because she punched the father of her child, Gary, on national TV. And so she got arrested for domestic violence, okay? Because it doesn't go one way, it goes both ways. And now we're hearing the story that her mom did the same thing to Amber's dad. And then we're hearing that Amber's mom's father was also verbally and physically abusive. So this seems like a trend in the family that's trickling down. Whether it was purposeful or not, or it was, I don't know where it came from, if it was emotions or if it was seeing something out of habit, but there we see a trend right there. But either way, Matt is like, look, they don't really have much in common. They're both not telling the full truth, but what they have decided is that I'm the enemy. So this is why they're coming at me at this point. I'm the common enemy, and they want to make themselves look good. So the other night when she was yelling at me and going crazy about me, like, being abusive and domestic violence and all that, that's not true. Well, at this point, Brandi is thinking the same thing as me. Like, I don't know who to believe. I don't know whether to believe Matt. I don't know whether to believe Amber, okay? Amber, she's all over the place a lot of the time. And her mom apparently is telling half-truths. And Matt, he is also a liar at that. But he didn't get super, like, offended and hyped up when she said that he was an abuser. So it's like, Are you holding this demeanor because you know it's not true, or are you holding this calm demeanor because you want to remain looking as if you are innocent in some type of way? I don't know. Hopefully we'll find out what's really going on. But anyways, Brandi says, you know what? Amber is hostile. She's broken and she needs help. Matt said, then he reveals to the group that, well, at least to Brandi and to Renee, that Amber is on antidepressants, a mood stabilizer, and another type of drug that the TV bleeped out. I can't figure out what that drug is, but apparently it's a really strong drug that Renee's doctor won't even give to her. It's a drug that's strong enough for Brandi to say, well, if she's taking that drug, then there's no way that she's sober. That's why she's acting the way that she's acting. So I'm sure that will come up once again. Now, at this point in the episode, they start like their pre-exercise. So the exercise is called sign, seal, sacrifice. So the doctors are taking one member of each family to go in the confessional room, read this letter, and make a decision. When they make a decision, they can't change their decisions, but they can't tell anybody about it. If they tell someone, then the whole family has to risk like going through a major punishment. Okay, so the decision is basically like, do you want, like, the other family members are going to have to complete an extremely difficult task later on in the day. You, the person reading the letter, is going to have to decide whether you're going to take one of their places or both of their places, or if you're going to just let them basically fend for themselves and complete the difficult task and sit back and watch. So they chose each person secretly for a different reason, each one member of each family. So, of course, they have Renee coming there first. She's about tired of her sister. She's been arguing with them for 2 days now. She's like, you know what? I'm going to let them pull their own weight. I wasn't shocked by that decision. Okay, so before we go to the next person, we had a quick little argument, disagreement with Jimmy, Chrissy, and Nancy. It was really with Chrissy and Nancy. So they're outside. I don't know how this conversation came up, but basically Chrissy and Nancy are arguing back and forth. Nancy wants to understand why Chrissy moved to Miami. Chrissy must have moved to Miami at some point during her relationship with Jim. We all know they used to live together, like after Love and Hip Hop, they lived together, but at some point she got up and moved to Miami. Well, Chrissy basically says she chose not to deal with the situation anymore. Nancy and Jim, they were just stressing her out, so she was worn out between the two of them. Chrissy specifically said, now let me quote this, he would come home at 6 and 7 in the morning talking about this record, and that record, this record and that record, I ain't seen one record. So what record are you working on? When I listened to that part, I had to rewind it like 3 times. That was hilarious to me. Like, hilarious, okay? Because, like, she was, like, shading him in a sense, but she was so serious. Like, she wasn't trying to be rude. And I understand from a woman's point of view, like, now you're working on what again? Okay, where's the product? Like, show me exactly what you're working on, because you need some type of explanation for being out until 6 or 7 in the morning. I don't care if you're a rapper, okay? Like, you still have family obligations to take care of. You can't just be gone and then have nothing to show for it. And I only laugh because there's a lot of rappers out there that are like, oh, you know, I've been in the studio, I've been working on my album. They post on Instagram like this album, that like them in the studio, I'm gonna have an album coming out. The album been coming out for 10 years and it ain't never came out. Oh, I got some hot stuff, but it's like, what do you have? Like soup, pizza, because you clearly don't have a song because we haven't heard anything, okay? Not even a leak. But I'm gonna let that go, okay? So anyways, Chrissy is mad about that. Nancy basically says Chrissy was disrespectful for getting up and leaving and going to Miami. She disrespected Jim and she should have like taken her place in the house with her family. Whatever the case, Jim was getting tired of watching his mother and his fiance argue, so he got up and left. Chrissy was basically like, him being a rapper does not excuse him from being a family man. I agree. Okay, so then we have the decision with Matt in the confessional. Of course, he decides to take both of their places. Matt, you know, he was also the one that didn't care for the snake to come out of the box in the exercise. Matt, I mean, he just likes the challenge, okay? So he's like, I'll take their places, whatever it is. Plus, he's the man against, like, with 2 women. Of course, he should take their place. Chrissy, we weren't able to see what her actual decision was. Um, Guy, Brandi's dad, said, you know what? If it's a difficult task, Brandi is athletic, she's strong, she's smart, she can do it. I'll let her do it. I'm older, I can't do it. And I'm like, you punk. Like, that would piss me off to the highest level of festivity if my dad said, yeah, she's athletic, I'm going to just let her do it. It's a difficult task. She's young, she could do it. And I'd be like, what? Excuse me? Yeah. So I can understand Brandi and Guy's relationship. But anyways, um, so then we go to the kitchen. Of course, Amber, she just kind of like likes to stir up things from time to time. So she's in the kitchen. She basically confronts Brandi, says something about like, you've been drinking wine all day. Every time I see you, you have a wine glass in your hand and you started early in the morning. Brandi is like, look, why are you coming at me? Every time I see you, you're drinking wine. And Amber is like, yeah, but you start early in the morning. I'm like, Amber, mind your business. You and your family have a lot of problems. You should focus on that, not Brandi, okay? And they try to clear it up, but you can tell there's still tension. And honestly, Amber should have just minded her own business. Okay, so then we get to the exercise. They go outside, and there are attack dogs outside. Literally, like, rough, 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 rough. Like, you can see, like, slobber coming out of their mouth. You can see their teeth and everything. Jim is like, this is not the business. I don't know what this is. I don't want to do none of y'all exercises, okay? So everybody looks alarmed. Basically, they get introduced to the exercise. The exercise is one family member or two will be chosen from the doctors, and they will have to put on these bite suits, which are just like really big, like fat suits. And these are trained attack dogs. The objective is to run across the finish line. Of course, they're going to release the dog, and the dog is going to attack you. At this point, they don't tell them the purpose of the exercise. We know this is sacrifice day. The viewers know. Okay, so we have this. This is how the exercise goes. So we have Brandi. Her dad gets up there with her. Brandi goes, barely crosses the line, and the dog bites her and is literally dragging her around. I was alarmed because Brandi didn't have on a helmet or anything. And in my mind, like, that dog could have bit my face. Like, that dog could have, like, really messed up my hair. Like, that dog could have did a lot of damage, okay? Like, y'all would have played my life out if y'all would have had me do that exercise without a helmet, okay? That's crazy. Okay, so then we have Amber and Matt. At first, they put Amber in the suit, but then they say, you know what, Amber, take off the suit. We want Matt to do it. She didn't hesitate, and Matt didn't hesitate either, because we know that Matt actually chose to take her place anyway. She just doesn't know at this point. Okay, then apparently my TV cut out, so don't quote me on this. I don't know why it cut out for 2 minutes, but apparently Chrissy took Nancy's place. And Nancy really appreciated that later on in the episode, because it showed that, like, Chrissy, like, really loved and cared for her, and it was thoughtful. Okay, then we have Renee and her sisters. Of course, her sisters were supposed to do the drill. They were like, no, hands, arms crossed, like, I'm not doing it. I don't care. I'm not changing my mind. I'm not doing it. Now, mind you, Renee was supposed to keep her decision. She was supposed to not do it. But Renee is like, you know, they're not going to do it. I'm telling y'all they're not going to do it. I'll just do it. Whatever. Give me the suit. The doctors were trying to get her not to, but she was like, I'll do it anyway. The sisters were like, good. She wants to do it. Let her do it. But this is the cycle of their relationship, though. Like, the hard things, like, Renee will take on. She'll be like, they're not going to do it. I'll just do it. They're very codependent on one another. Whereas that was the time where the sister should have stepped up, and Renee shouldn't have just jumped in automatically to sacrifice herself all the time and save them. Sometimes maybe this is why Renee feels like she gets the short end of the stick. But it's a cycle for their relationship. Okay, anyways, after that is over, Brandi, Chrissy, and Renee, they're, like, in the house before the group evaluations. They're basically just venting because they're tired of Amber's attention seeking. They're not going to deal with it anymore. Okay, so then they have a group meeting, okay, at the end of the night, so the doctors can explain to them what the exercise is about, and the truth comes out. The doctors reveal to them the pre-exercise assignment and what the individual family members chose. Of course, some people are alarmed by these by this new information. Okay, so of course Brandi was extremely shocked. Like, my father chose for me to go in there. That's crazy. Like, I've never felt like protected, or like my dad was stepping up and being the father. Of course, the doctors confronted him like, you cannot just dismiss your fatherly duties. Like, that was a time where you should have stepped up, and this is why Brandi is the way that she is with you. I totally agreed with them. Amber was happy that Matt was going to stand up for her. The sisters, they, of course, it was explained to them why they're still going through the same cycle. Exactly what happened that day was not what was supposed to happen, but it's a cycle of their relationship. Um, Jim and I had already told you about Nancy and Chrissy. Okay, so then we have Judge Lynn Toller. Oh wait, before she comes out, there is a disagreement. This disagreement is between Renee and Amber. This is because the doctors confront Guy Glanville about revealing to the group that he thought his daughter was an escort or something like that, and basically not protecting her in that moment. Then Amber speaks up and says, yeah, because last night in the kitchen, he told me that you told him you were an escort. So Renee snaps. Renee is like, that was totally out of line. They already have a toxic relationship. You shouldn't have put your 2 cents in. You're just hurting it. Why would you start drama? Wah, 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 wah. And I felt as though, like, Renee, I know that you're trying to, like, you see what's wrong with this situation, but you should really focus on your situation, because let Brandi fight her own battles. If she's not going to say anything about it, then why are you jumping in? But whatever. So there's that disagreement. So we have Judge Lynn Toller come in. I'll go through her evaluations really quick here. Basically, she turns to the Graziano sisters, Renee, Jenn, and Lana, and says, you guys are air hoarders. Basically, you like are marinating in a bucket of sin. You just keep filling it up with what everyone has done bad, but you never open it up and let any of the water leak out. So you need to basically learn how to put a period at the end of those things that happened 27 plus years ago, okay? You guys are good people, but you're toxic for each other because you argue about a lot of things that don't matter. They're not a big deal. Get beyond it. You love each other, so let's do better. They agreed with her. Then she turns to the Joneses. Jim Jones, Nancy, and Chrissy. And she basically says, both of you women are alike because you're very strong women. You're very strong-minded. However, do not do not confuse strength with like a grittiness. Like, I have to be loud and yell. Sometimes being strong is just saying, like, hey, it's okay. Like, backing away from this situation. Everything does not need to be a fight to the death, okay? And then she basically tells Jim, you need to know when to come in and direct traffic in their relationship, because, you love your mom, but you need to also make sure that your woman feels a part of the family as well. Okay, and then we have the Glanvilles. Judge Lynn Toller tells Guy that Brandi wants unconditional love from her father, okay? She wants to feel like the sun rises and sets in his eyes when it comes in regards to her. And he needs to do what he needs to do as far as being a father and fulfilling that, like, want and desire that she desperately needs from him. Okay. Then we have the Portwoods, Amber and Matt. Basically, she tells Amber, like, you're a special type of person. You have a lot of things going on with you. You have actual, like, medical, like, mental diagnoses. However, your diagnosis is not your destiny, okay? Strength is not the ability to holler at someone, like you've been doing this entire time, but strength is the ability to not allow what they say to you to bother you at all. I totally agree with that. That takes everybody a while to, like, sit in and to accept that and not everybody's going to like me. A lot of people are going to say things that I don't agree with. A lot of people I'm going to sometimes feel attacked by people. You know what? I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm going to be more secure in who I am and, like, be, like, kind of, like, hold the line. Okay, I have all these things that are going on with me. Amber has, like, multiple, like, bipolar disorder and, like, multiple personality or something like that. But that doesn't have to define her, okay? That doesn't have to control her life. So then she also says, she gives Matt some feedback, like basically like you got to be the right guy to deal with this type of girl, okay? And Matt says, you know what? Her observation does not defy our lives, okay? She's only saying things based off of what she observes. Duh, because that's her observation, and she's giving an evaluation based off of her watching you for the past 3 days. But I feel like Matt and Amber are being resistant to Judge Lynn Toller's comments, and I felt like they were very true for their situation. Even, I don't know Amber personally, but I've watched her throughout the years on TV, and it is like Judge Lynn Toller's evaluation of her was spot on. Okay, so basically, after that is over, they say goodnight, the doctors. Renee won't let it go. She's still upset about Amber kind of like attacking Brandi in a sense, or just getting involved in Brandi and Guy's situation about the escort comment. Her sisters basically want her to chill out. Like, they always want her to chill out. But Renee is so upset, she's going around venting to everyone in the house at this point about how Amber was wrong. Now, earlier, she said that Amber was seeking attention, but in this moment, it seems like Renee is seeking attention, okay? Don't make everything be a problem. Learn to put a period on the end of things, like the doctor said, or like the judge said. So, of course, Amber and Matt, they are just like frustrated sitting by the pool. They're done with Renee because they're like, she's just a bucket of drama tonight. So, there's somebody that takes the crown for drama queen every episode. And last episode was Amber, but I gotta give this one to Renee for sure. But I will be here for my next review. If you got this far in the video and you haven't subscribed, you may as well subscribe, okay? Like, comment below. I'll be sure to comment back, and I hope you enjoyed the review, and I will see you again. Till next time. Bye.